Yeah.
And then, I guess in a more specific capacity, you've been advising the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea?
Well, I did. I'm not at the moment doing it. I did advise the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea and also the President of the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And I've advised other groups as well. But these were particular initiatives that are underway. The Papua New Guinea initiative has kind of morphed into other things and is moving ahead. The Dominican Republic initiative that we had, we're still working on, actually, quite closely. And basically we call it environmentally and socially sustainable economic growth.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a sense of what we're trying to do, and it's really very much emblematic of what this center is about.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that we are trying to achieve a certain level of environmental sustainability, meaning a certain amount of environmental restoration and sustainable management going forward. But we're not doing it we're not doing it by creating a protected area and pushing everyone out.
Okay.
We're not doing it by creating a museum and saying, you all have to live this old way so that this can be sustainable. We're doing it, actually, environmental sustainability is seen, and social sustainability is seen as a foundation, as sort of the foundational step for economic growth. It's in an area of the Dominican Republic which is very, very poor, and the whole idea is to try to create a strong environmental and social foundation for building a much more successful economy that reaches all of the people within the area. So we're working in a 200 square mile area on the northern coast of the Dominican Republic, and there are 22,000 people living there, and they're involved in farming and in fisheries and a variety of other activities. And we're working very closely with, it's a watershed, so it has a ridge in the back and that comes all the way down to the beach and then out to the reef. So we have this kind of ridge to reef program. And the goal is really to take steps in a variety of areas that will improve environmental sustainability, improve the social conditions of people, and ultimately grow the economy of the area.
So I guess working on this project would be really different than any initiative in the United States, maybe, with the developing versus developed nation, or?
Well, here's the thing. People talk about, well, there are two issues that I've raised. Okay. For a long time, people said you had to choose one or the other. It either was environmental sustainability or economic growth, but you couldn't have both. So if you want to grow the economy, you're going to have to absorb a fair amount of environmental degradation. If you want to keep the environment in some sort of high quality state, then you're going to have to some degree minimize economic growth. Right? We, at the center, we don't believe that's true. We believe you can have both. It's hard work to figure out how to do it, but you can have both. Okay. So now, having said that, right, then someone might say, well, show me how you're going to do that. Right? That's words. That's not anything. So that's why we're taking on this project to try to develop a model for how you can have environmental and social sustainability and economic growth. How to do it. But we're working with real people in real time, in a real place, with real consequences. This is not a laboratory experiment. It's not a thought experiment for writing an article. This is a real thing. I mean, we are really working all the time. I mean, we work very closely with all of the different community groups, farming groups and fishing groups and all the community organizations. I mean, this is hard work. It's much harder than my science. Principally because everything involving people, no matter where you are in the world, is complicated. And this involves people. That's what this is. This is a people project. With a very specific set of goals.
Okay. So that being environmental and economic sustainability then?
It being environmental and social sustainability, excuse me, that creates a platform for economic growth.
Okay.
Our feeling is if you have a degraded environment and declining social institutions, you cannot have economic growth. You cannot sustain economic growth. But if you actually can reach a certain level of sustainability in the environment and in social institutions, then you actually can have long-term economic growth.
Okay, that makes sense. How do you see that